Imagine a movie set where live bullets fly, actors break bones, and the director pushes everyone to the brink of death, all for one iconic film. What if Terminator 2 wasn't just groundbreaking? It was nearly fatal. Welcome to the insane world of Hollywood blockbusters, where films aren't just made, they're survived. Today, we uncover the shocking true story of Terminator 2, Judgment Day, where live bullets, real explosions, and near-death stunts turn the set into a war zone. Get ready for a ride through madness that will leave you breathless. Let's dive in. 1990. James Cameron had just become king of the world after The Abyss, a film that nearly drowned him in an ocean of budget and technical problems. But his ambitions didn't cool down. He wanted a sequel to The Terminator that would blow the original to smithereens. The budget, $102 million, the most expensive project in movie history at the time. Producers clutched their heads, sweating cold sweat. "You've gone mad, Jim." And Cameron, with a maniacal gleam in his eyes, replied, "You haven't seen yet what a real madman is capable of." No one outside the crew knew that Terminator 2, Judgment Day, wasn't just a blockbuster. It was a battlefield where live bullets whistled, bones cracked, and the air was soaked with the smell of gunpowder, sweat, and fear. Actors came home with bruises, bleeding wounds, and nightmares that haunted them for years. And Cameron, like an obsessed general, yelled, "One more take! One more!" From the very beginning, Cameron declared, "Blanks are for cowards." He demanded live rounds because only they give that recoil that hits your shoulder like a hammer and a flash that blinds your eyes. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who invested his own millions in the project, nodded with a cyborg grin. If Jim says so, then that's how it is. And Linda Hamilton, who had just given birth to her son, had to turn from a tender mom into a steel-killing machine. 6 hours a day with Uzi Gal, the legendary Israeli Special Forces veteran, inventor of the Uzi submachine gun. Running with a 44-pound backpack on scorching asphalt until your legs burn like fire. Disassembling weapons blindfolded when your fingers bleed from cuts. Squats until nausea when your muscles tremble and fail. In weeks, she shed all the post-birth pounds. Her body became a map of bruises and calluses, and her eyes cold as Sarah Connor's. I didn't play her. I became her, and it scared me. Linda confessed in an interview, her voice still trembling from the memories. Now, transport yourself to Pescadero's psych ward. Cameron found a real abandoned psychiatric hospital from the 50s in East Los Angeles, a place where walls are covered in mold like green fur, lamps flicker like in a horror movie, and the air hangs heavy with the smell of disinfectant mixed with rot. Workers find old straitjackets forgotten in closets and human bones in the basement. The building stands on an ancient Native American burial ground, and whispers of a curse crawl through the group like cigarette smoke. One gaffer swears, "I saw a shadow in a white coat watching from an empty room, and it gave me chills down my spine." They strap Linda to a gurney in a corridor where every step echoes like a gunshot. Orderlies beat her with rubber batons. In the 17th take, the baton snaps with a crack, the hard end slamming into her ribs like a hammer. She gasps for air, tears streaming in rivers, ribs cracking, pain piercing her body like an electric shock. Cameron yells, "Cut!" only when the film runs out. Great emotion, one more. Linda in agony, but she stands, blood pulsing in her ears. 2 ribs cracked, breathing like through a straw. And the elevator scene? A tiny metal box 6 by 6 feet, walls reflecting every sound. Linda with a shotgun, and forgets her earplugs in the rush. Shot. The explosion echoes in her head like a sledgehammer strike. Blood drips from her ear, the world swims, eardrum torn forever. I thought my head exploded like a grenade, she recalls, her voice breaking. Cameron watches the playback. Smoke is perfect. Linda, hold on. One more take. She holds on to the end of the 12-hour shift until she drops to her knees from dizziness. Arnold, the cyborg you can't break, nearly died too. Chased through the Los Angeles drainage canal. He's on a Harley racing 62 miles per hour, shotgun in one hand, no stunt double. The road wet as after a downpour, covered in a layer of slime and dirt. On a test run, the bike skids on a turn like in a nightmare. Arnold flies into the concrete wall, the impact so hard you hear the bone snap. Wrist breaks, bone sticking out of the skin, blood gushing like a fountain, staining the handlebars red. Doctors run with stretchers. He waves them off, face pale but stubborn. Tape it up. We're shooting. And shoots the whole day with a fracture, pain shooting through his arm with every bump. But he holds the shotgun steady as steel. Pain is temporary. Film is eternal. He jokes later, but in his eyes, the shadow of that terror. Helicopter chase under bridges at a height of just 14.7 feet, wind whipping like a lash. It's banned by all FAA rules, but Cameron got permission, bribing officials with studio money. The pilot, a Vietnam vet, grips the controls with white knuckles, sweat pouring down his face. We're too low. We're gonna crash. Cameron from the cabin yells into the radio. Fly on. The shot isn't perfect. The chopper clips wires, sparks exploding like fireworks, the machine shaking like in agony. They land by miracle, pilot trembling like a leaf. Cameron fires him on the spot. Find me one who isn't afraid, and hires a new one, ready to risk life for the frame. Robert Patrick, the T-1000, runs naked through the desert at plus 40 degrees Celsius, the sand scorching his feet like a red-hot skillet, the air shimmering with heat waves that distort everything like a fever dream. To get that liquid, mercury-like walk, he sheds 12 kilograms, hallucinating from dehydration. He sees Terminators in the mirages, their metal skeletons glinting in the sun. Then he chases a real police car at 60 kilometers per hour. No safety net. Lungs burning like fire, heart pounding like a sledgehammer. After takes, he vomits on the asphalt, dropping to his knees as the world spins. I thought it was the end, he confesses, his voice still hoarse from the memory. The steel mill scene, A real abandoned factory in Fontana. Temperature inside plus 50 degrees Celsius. Air thick with heat like a hellish sauna. 4,000 liters of molten metal at 1,200 degrees Celsius. The vat bubbles like a volcano, steam scalding the skin. Edward Furlong is 13, hanging from a cable over this lava, heat searing his face, sweat pouring in rivers, eyebrows singeing. The cable slips. He drops 1.5 meters down, his scream so raw it sends chills down everyone's spine, a cold knot in the stomach. That's not in the script. It's reality, and Cameron uses the scream in the film. Cameron and Arnold fight until they're hoarse. Arnold wants humor, Cameron darkness. One day Arnold storms off, slamming the door. Cameron calls at night. "If you don't come back, I'll kill your character in the first scene." His voice like steel. Arnold returns, but the air sparks with hatred. The truck flip, the most expensive scene in history in 1991. First take, truck tumbles, pins the driver. He screams inhumanly, legs crushed to pulp, blood mixing with oil. They pull him out. He writhes in agony. Cameron watches the playback. Flames look gorgeous. Tomorrow one more. Workers whisper, "The film is cursed, like Poltergeist." Linda collapses from heat stroke in the desert. The sun bakes like a laser. She loses consciousness, IV drip right on the sand. Patrick cuts his hand on a real knife. Deep gash, 10 stitches, blood spraying like in a horror. Furlong gets food poisoning from craft services, films while vomiting between takes, face green as a zombie. Arnold on the bike crashes into a wall, concussion, sees double for a week, head buzzing like after a bomb. Filming 171 days of pure hell. Released July 3rd, 1991. Grossed $520 million. Invented CGI, the T-1000 morphing based on real mercury, toxic fumes making techs cough blood, made everyone stars. But the price? Broken bones, lost hearing, scorched nerves. People who still wake from nightmares screaming, "One more take." Cameron confessed, "I went too far, nearly killed us all." Arnold said, "It was war, the best war of my life." Terminator 2. It's not just a film. It's a document of madness, where one man risked lives for perfection. And yes, all the bullets were real. And that's the brutal truth behind Terminator 2. A film that wasn't just groundbreaking, it was life-threatening. If this dive into Hollywood's craziest production shocked you, smash that like button, subscribe for more untold movie horrors from around the world, and hit the bell so you never miss out. What insane film production should we expose next? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Stay strong, and see you in the next one.
I'll be back.